Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.
Welcome back to BBB Sharing. I'm Evie, Director of Ignite, here in the Ignite podcast studio. My wonderful guest today is Mike from Collawn Construction. Hey, Mike.
Hey,
we have
Evie.
some surprising news. You guys are in your 20th year.
Yep, this is our 20th year in business.
So what's it like being a construction company, especially you guys are local in Richmond, right?
Yes.
What's it like being in your 20th year, a construction company in Richmond?
It's like any other business in Richmond. It's had its challenges, its ups and downs. But having been around for 20 years, we're able to kind of look and see, how things are going and kind of see how the past can change. And we try to adapt and change with those times now.
I think that's actually wonderful because what people don't understand is 20 years is a big milestone. And even more so in a place like Richmond, where there's so much history with the architecture and the town itself. So many people are very stubborn.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
love this town so much, but it has a very special stubbornness to it. So tell me what it's like navigating that environment here. People being so wonderful, which they are, don't get me wrong, but kind of navigating the culture here in Richmond.
So I'm very fortunate to be a born and raised Richmond native.
Love it.
And I've always loved the architecture of Richmond.
Yeah.
I love the history of Richmond. I love everything about Richmond. And I know a lot of people bash our city, but I think we have a great city.
Oh, yeah.
And so I take a lot of pride in restoring older homes in the city or even new homes and creating homes and spaces for people that they can pass down generationally. And that's not to say every project is, a major historic restoration. I mean, we do, we'll come out and do the small $200 or $300 projects if people need us to. But when we get in those special projects, those, Churchill restorations and renovations, I love those because that's such a part of the history of Virginia. And I think we connect with people because of my love for it. I'm a second generation carpenter. I grew up working with my uncle, who was also a fantastic carpenter. And he trained me on a lot of different things of the restoration of the old homes and stuff. And so we get to see, kind of legacy work, working on those older homes like that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
What are some things that you guys would say you specialize in?
So we're a full service general contractor that specializes in remodel work. So that does span kind of quite a bit of things. We do a lot of decks, screen porches. We do kitchens and bathrooms. We're licensed marine contractors, so we do boathouses and piers, which we don't have a lot of those in Richmond, but we do those in the surrounding
I
areas.
want to say like Virginia Beach.
More like New Kent, James City County, in those areas. We've done some on the James River. Those are a lot of fun because you're working on the water, but
Yeah.
it's creating a fun space for people. So we really do everything from the foundation to the roof because we do additions and we do a little bit of everything. We have a full staff of painters and electricians and plumbers, drywall guys. We try to keep as much stuff in house as possible.
That's wonderful. What are some stories? And I always ask people this. I had a plumber one time that told me about a renovation that he did or he was a part of in one house where they actually put a disco ball and the toilet was a swan. So what's the craziest project you or your team have ever worked on?
So we had one years ago, and it was actually one of my favorite projects. We had an older lady. She had just retired and moved to Virginia. Her daughter lived here, and it was a beautiful house in a very West End neighborhood, and she wanted pink glitter walls. And I believe she was in her late 80s. Her faucets had lips on them. They looked like giant red lips. She wanted Tiffany chandeliers. And it was just this crazy stuff that you would never put in your house. But she said, I've left my kids enough money. I'm spending the rest of it on me.
Good for
And
her.
I want it to be wild. And
Good for her.
it was one of the craziest houses. Once it was done, I said, we can't post pictures of this on our website because it's so crazy that no one's going to like this but you. But she loved it. She was happy and she was smiling and she was just so much fun to work with because she had so much energy.
I love
And
it.
she was an absolute blast.
That's wonderful. What are some things that you kind of forewarn your customers about, or even customers that have come to you after having a bad experience? What are some things that you've seen probably common or maybe even totally outlandish?
So one of the things we hear on a weekly basis is I've had one or two or three other contractors come and they won't call me back. And from the day I started this company, I said I wanted to be different. I don't want to be what I refer to as man with truck.
Yeah.
And that's just that random guy who shows up. I made sure that all of my, even when I was the only employee, I was going to wear a uniform. I was going to have my vehicles lettered. I was going to wear a name tag. I wanted people to know who I was, and I was going to make sure I always return my phone calls. So the thing that I always talk to people about is, this is who we are. This is how we operate. We have kind of a set of standards that we operate by. We don't have guys cussing, drinking, and smoking on our job sites. They're going to be in a uniform. You're going to have a foreman. You're going to have a project manager. And there's going to be a lot of communication. And when it comes to renovating their homes, I'm a big firm believer in classic style. And I don't necessarily mean, something that's dated looking, but something that's timeless. So one of the things I propose to people, like if you're doing a bathroom, for example, someone will say, well, I really want to do this and this and this. And my follow-up question to that is, do you want to redo it in 5 years? And if the answer is yes, then I'll say, great, let's make it as modern and up to date and current, whatever's in style, because there was a time that, gold was really popular and then it went away. And if you had gold, you were throwing it in the garbage. And now gold is back. We're seeing a lot of gold. It's a brushed gold in bathrooms. So styles change. If you think it's going to be your only renovation in your kitchen, kitchens are expensive, then do something that's timeless. So we can, especially in the older homes, we can create something that matches the house. You want it to character match your house, and do these timeless renovations that are going to stand up.
I have to agree with that. When my parents were building their home here in the States, one of the things that my mom and dad took into consideration, they wanted to make sure that we had a big living room area. And we hosted a lot of parties. My family is Greek, so you can only imagine, right? Like 50, 60, 70 people in one house at one time. Crazy. But very well thought out was the space that they created between the living room and the kitchen, knowing that there was going to be that constant flow in between. Whereas a lot of houses that I went into, like my friends' homes, there was always like a lot of walls blocking everything. And I'm like, I feel claustrophobic in this house because there's no space, like that open floor plan. What are some things that you have, or how does the conversation go when you have to explain to one of your clients, maybe this is not a good idea and here's why?
I think you have to do that with a certain amount of grace. I have one that always stands out to me. I love Richmond row homes. I think they're so pretty. And I've always loved the architecture of those, as I said before. I had a customer call me one day, or a potential customer call me on Park Avenue, and it was one of the most beautiful examples of a early 1900s Park Avenue home I've ever seen. It's only been in one family. The trim work was immaculate, like it'd never been touched. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was pristine. And the client, when I was looking at the property, she said, well, I want to tear it on this wall and I want to put, mirrors here and glass blocks here. And it was all this kind of crazy modern stuff. And I just calmly said, I think these are great ideas, but I don't know that I'm the right contractor for you. And she questioned why. And I said, I love the architect and I would have a hard time ripping it apart, honestly. And I think if my heart's not in it, then I wouldn't be able to give you 100% quality that I wanted to give you. I know I would do the job well and do it right, but my heart wouldn't be in it. And after 20 years being in business, it's nice to be able to kind of pick and choose, the jobs that we really want to do. And she told me she understood, she appreciated it, and I gave her the name of another contractor, and I just can't look at the house now.
I do not blame you. It's funny that you say that. My uncle's a contractor in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
But he grew up here in Richmond with my grandmother, my mom, and her siblings. Well, he said, I do not have the heart to ruin, because he used to walk around with me like in the museum district and stuff like that, and like pinpoint all the different architecture details on the homes. He loved them. And he would say, I do not have the heart to accept a project that's going to destroy any of that.
Yeah, and we've run into some different things over the years, and I try to explain to people sometimes without, again, stepping on their toes, but I have another one that always stood out to me. I had a customer who wanted to do a bathroom, and she had some colorblind issues. And so we're trying to help her walk through, because the tile she had initially picked out, it was awful. I mean, there's just no two ways to say it. It was terrible. The colors didn't go together. Everything clashed. And I take a lot of pride in the design work we do for bathrooms, especially. And she said, "Oh, once we're done, take pictures, put them on your website," which I couldn't do. And because people don't understand that the quality goes out the window at that point, not the quality of workmanship, but people are going to look at it and go, "Well, that's an ugly bathroom. Who designed it?"
Right.
They don't care about the quality of the workmanship that went into it. They just go, "Ooh, it's ugly." But I couldn't tell her that because she had colorblind issues. And so, that's one that I always think back, if I could have changed it, maybe I'd have tried to push her, but it's what she wanted and I gave her what she wanted. So
Has a customer ever given you free range to do what you want?
I've had quite a few customers.
Really?
I won't say the name because it's a big name in Richmond, but I have one customer who gave me free reign to do whatever I wanted on their project. They said, "We love your design work." We did their kitchen, we did a screen porch, and then redid all their living room with new trim and everything. And it was a beautiful historic home, and we used cherry wood on the trim, and it was all stained, and just absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous property. And they had the access to the materials to do it, so
Wonderful.
we just had free reign to
I
do whatever
love
we
that.
wanted. And it's still one of my favorite projects. I love when people let me cut loose and just kind of do what we want to do. And
That's amazing.
yeah,
How can people get in contact with you?
we have multiple ways. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, of course, we have our website, which has all of our contact information on it. We can be reached via email, mike@collawnconstruction.com, or info@collawnconstruction.com. Our office number, of course, we have someone in the office from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. And that's on our website as well. So any of those sources, you can get hold of us.
Perfect. And all of the information, your website and stuff like that is going to be in the description box. So make sure to check that information out as well. If you are not yet following us on YouTube or Spotify, please make sure to do so. On YouTube, we are BBB Central VA. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Do not forget to hit that notification bell. It'll notify you every time we post. And of course, on Spotify, BBB Sharing, make sure to give us a follow and share us out. Mike, thank you so much for joining me.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Ignite, sparked by BBB, where conversations are taking place to change the future.